Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, and that whenever and wherever you happen to be in this physical plane of existence, I hope that you are able to create and imagine a new way or a new path for anything that is stale and stagnant and not quite working in your life. That you are able to imagine and raise a new hope for yourself, and that you won't give up on whatever dream it is that you're about to give up on. A lot of people have been faced with some hard things lately. I mean, a lot of people in the world. It's a kind of a common thing right now. It's a theme for humanity, not just you and your best friend, not just your neighbor and you know, the 2 or 3 people you talk to. Like, oh, isn't that funny? What a coincidence. You're all going through that. I think this is a universal thing. I feel like almost everybody has had what they're deeming to be a setback or a false start or a non-starter. Welcome to 2020, guys. Oh, I mean, we're all familiar with this year. I mean, this year has been absolutely nuts. Has it not? I mean, I don't know about you guys. I know when I started this year, I had high hopes. High hopes. Up in the sky hopes. I felt like that's it. That's it. This is my year. 2020 vision. Roaring 20s. Gonna do it. This is the year. I had high hopes for 2020, and now I'm just like, I wish they could have put me in homeostasis for a year. You know, in some ways, because I just feel like everything's been a non-starter. Everything's been, you know, like, just, I feel like in some ways I've been misled on some things, or maybe I wasn't able to discern the truth on some things. Like, for example, my TESOL certification. I looked into it a year ago, you know, so this started way back last year. I looked into it a year ago. I thought, okay, well, that's kind of being my ace in my back pocket. Yeah, I'm gonna, I might not win this hand, but I'll win the card game next year with the TESOL certification. And when I looked into it, it said it was 6 weeks long. I'm like, all right, I could do that. I could get behind that. When I started the certification, I first finished the first part, and I thought, well, that's cool. That's cool. So I have like one left or something, and that's going to be, you know, it. And it's actually 8 courses. Each course is 6 weeks long, but they don't say that in the description. They say it's 6 weeks, or they say it's 6 courses, and they make it sound like it's only, 6 weeks. 150 hours. I'm like, okay, well, if I worked 20 hours a week, I mean, what is that? 8 weeks? But they call it a 6-week course. Maybe it's intense. Maybe it's an intensive. And I didn't read the fine print. The fine print said working on this course for 4 hours a week, you'll get it done in 8 months. And I'm like, what the actual hell, right? So I've been scrambling to get it done. And I had also kind of a little bit looked into getting a job, and it's easy, you just get hired, bada boom, bada bing. Some of the jobs you don't even need the TESOL certification, but if you have it, they actually will pay you more money. Okay, great. So I got halfway through. I'm almost halfway through. I mean, this last section has been just really tedious. It's not hard, it's just tedious. It's just, so much reading and watching 10 hours of really boring classroom instruction, which is not even the kind of teaching I'm going to do anyway. So I'm just like, It's like if I was there and it was my class, I'd be invested, so I would be excited about it, but I'm not excited about watching somebody else, tell the difference between ES and IES at the end of a word. I'm just like bored out of my gourd. So I didn't read the fine print. I didn't know about all this extra things. And when I started this certification, I was under the impression it wasn't 150, it was 120 hours. And I think they might have changed it. I'm not sure. But they made it look like you could do the capstone project 1 and 2 if you're going to show, what kind of teaching you're going to do. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do that part. And they said, or you could just go to the first and the second part or whatever, and then you're good. And you could get your certification when you're finished. And so I did the first and then the second. And then it turns out I did like section 1 and section 5. I'm like, what happened through, 2, 3, and 4 plus the first capstone project? Their app screwed up. Someone had put the wrong description in the app. So this whole time I thought, 6 weeks, I'm good. So anyway, that's one of my weird setbacks. I mean, it's just, I kind of went on a little bit too long about that, but it's just one of my weird setbacks. It's like, what? That's not at all and I've looked into this a couple different times. And every time I looked into it, it was like, this is a 6-week course. Some of them were streamlined. It was like a 4-week course, but a little bit more intensive, 25 hours a week. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I could do that. Or even the 6-week, that's even better. I mean, I looked into this many, many times, 7 years ago, 3 years ago, last year, and then this year in the beginning, like January. It was my ace in my pocket. And I'm like, holy shit, I hope I'm done in 6 months. I'm just like, oh my God, it's so tedious. And that seems to me how this year has been for a lot of you. Now, some of you have graduated. 2 of my listeners have graduated with certifications or degrees. And a couple of you have gotten into your twin flame relationship already, which is incredible for all of you, and yay, congratulations. So I don't know what the deal is, I feel like a lot of us are moving forward and doing well, and a lot of us are stuck. We're about to move forward and do well, but we're stuck. So I'm doing the whole that thing, and then I'm like, okay, Udemy, I'm going to write my classes. I'm going to start doing classes. I'll let you guys know. I'll give you a hefty discount because you're my listeners. So I'm going to do an hour long, 6 part, but it's only going to be an hour long class, but it's 6 parts. But it's going to be workshops and worksheets, handouts, maybe a pop quiz or 2. I'll try to make it super fun. And I'm in the middle of, formulating the homework part of the class. The class has been written. I might have to add 1 or 2 sections or enhance them a little bit, but I'm excited about it, right? And I've been working on it for a couple months, and now here comes this situation where my microphone isn't here yet. I mean, I paid extra money to get it on time, and it's not the person who sent it. They did the right thing, but there's this issue that I've talked about a few times. So I'm still waiting, and my soul guidance says it's going to be sooner than a month. I was told it was going to be a month, and then I had some more practical advice from someone local who said, it's probably going to be just maybe another, week or two. It's going to definitely be less than a month. And yet they always over exaggerate things. Okay, great. All right. But then I had other weird setbacks where I had with the place where I order stuff from, you could add stuff to the cart and then come back in a week or 3 weeks and all the stuff's still in the cart. And so I was just like adding stuff as I thought about it. And I'm like, okay, got ready, bada boom, bada bing. Last month I got paid and boom, did the order. And one of the things in my cart I thought for certain was there. I thought within 2-3 weeks I would be getting my foam rubber stuff to coat my walls so that the sound quality would be better. That would enhance the value of my class. Well, it wasn't even in the cart. I never even ordered it, which means it's going to take another month to 2 months to get it. So that's what I mean by setbacks. So this is all very technical and boring, but the point is everything I thought was going to be fast is like super slow and tediously slow and annoyingly slow and all these weird setbacks. Somebody that I was going to work with, and I mean, I still might have an opportunity with the company, but somebody I was going to work with and maybe write the blog, and he said, maybe we'll pay you like, $20 a post, basically $20 per article. And so it's a paid writing gig. I'm like, yes to this. Gonna definitely do it and help them increase their business, help them increase sales, help them, give people ideas on, different things to do. So including what can you do when you're bored in a foreign country? What kind of a hobby or fun things you could do? And I was going to write a blog about this and get paid, and it was going to help their business, and that would help me. Well, the guy who had told me all this, that we were kind of formulating this plan together, he died. Well, there's a setback, he died, and I'm like, what the hell? So I've been here waiting for, a 3 weeks to hear from him. And I thought, maybe he's mad at me. Maybe I always go into that place. Maybe she's mad at me. Maybe he's mad at me. And then I find out later the person died. I'm like, oh my God. So I just found this out like 2 hours ago. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was talking to his wife and she's like, yeah, he just died. And it was like random. And apparently the autopsy said he had cancer and like 4 or 5 organs. They didn't know that he even had cancer, let alone metastasized cancer. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to go, not dragging it out and getting the chemo and laying around in the hospital and everyone being sad. I mean, it's better you just keel over one day, that's my opinion. It's kind of a blessing and a curse if you're going to die any day now, and then everyone comes around and they visit you every day, literally waiting for you to die because they have 1,000,001 better things to do than hang out with you until you kick it. The bucket. They kick it with you until you kick it. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh God, it just drags and freaking drags. And it just drags people down. It drags the energy down. It's like really annoying. Yeah, it's like, what the hell? Like, it's like there's sometimes you just feel like, die already. Shit, or get off the pot. Come on. So I mean, he did the right. I mean, if this is what his soul chose, this is what he chose before he got here. I mean, it's kind of better to die like just one day, boom, gone. Just random. But it's sad, and I sat and I talked to his wife for like a couple hours tonight, and it was just, oh my God, so many people are dying. Eddie Van Halen, dead of cancer today, 65 years old. God rest his soul, and God rest my friend Art's soul. I can't believe this happened, man. Eddie Van Halen, he's young as hell, but I can't believe my friend died. Here we're, trying to build up a way that we can work together, that he can help me out financially. And my son was going to work with him, and the wife said, well, you know what? We'll still have your son work with me instead of with him. So that's still, so I think my son just might have gotten a second job, which is pretty incredible. For 3 years, my son's been like literally pounding the pavement and giving out hundreds of resumes, wearing not a suit, but he had like a nice shirt buttoned up with a tie and nice slacks, oh my God, I said the word slacks. Holy crap. Like channeling my father over here. But like, he has nice shoes, but he was like, my son's really polite, very appropriate. He says the word appropriate. I'm very appropriate, and it took 3 years. And then finally he just got his first actual job here, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And now it looks like maybe, fingers crossed, a second job is coming. But that's what I mean by setbacks. Is like everything is delayed, everything is set back, everything is just like, what the hell's going on, I believe we are in a Mercury retrograde again. Maybe that's what it is. As soon as it goes direct, it's going to be like, oh, well, here's that job you asked for like 6 months ago. Boom. Here's that, relationship you expected 2 months ago. Boom. Here's that, university entry. Sorry, it took 3 or 4 extra weeks to kind of, oops, we lost your application. Oh, boom, here we go. Now you could start going to class. That's what I feel like it's going to be. I feel like a lot of us are just like in limbo land. 2020 for me has been limbo land. and so this was the message from Prime Creator to you guys through me. He was saying, tell everybody, don't give up hope. Don't lose hope. Don't ever stop trying to imagine a way around what you're going through if you're going through frustrating things. Now, for a lot of you, things are flowing. It's like, oh my God, it's finally flowing. It's finally gelling. Things are finally coming around. And for some of you, things have gotten extremely confusing and unfamiliar. And it's been... For me, I see a very extremely slow forward movement, but it's still forward movement. I'm annoyed that it's not faster forward movement. I just got my final paycheck and I don't have a job. That's it. It's like, I'm living off my savings right now, hoping to God I could get through the TESOL certification super, super quickly so that I can get a job, so that I can continue my passion and my dream, which is to have this radio show for you guys turned to podcast, so that I could help others with the gifts and the knowledge that I spent my whole entire adult life gathering the knowledge and doing the spiritual work and going on this massive spiritual journey, just so that I could turn around and, here you guys go. I'm sharing it with you now at the right and appropriate time so that you can ascend now, you can grow now, you can be where you need to be. And I'm going to give you a little bit more of a roadmap, right? Instead of just like, I woke up spiritually, now what? What book do I read? What do I focus on? What do I think about? How do I navigate this? What the hell's a chakra? What do you mean my aura is dirty? Fuck you. What do you mean? What are you talking about? What does that mean? My aura is dirty. Just shut up. That doesn't even exist. I had people tell me stuff like that when I was like 18. I don't even remember. In general, I remember that this kind of stuff happened a lot. And now I think when I look back, I feel like this is like that weird ego thing. Like, oh, honey, I think you should have cleaned your tarot deck before you did that reading, because that's not really... those are really negative cards, and I think that you're just being affected by a negative entity. It's like, no, take the cards that were drawn for you, because maybe you need to look at something you didn't know about. No, but I feel like there's a lot of weirdness and judgmental stuff when I was first wakening up, and people would say things, and I was like, oh my God, why would they say that to me? I had one lady tell me that she needed me to give her $100 so she could burn a candle and do a special ceremony for me to get rid of some negative energy that somebody put on me. And I felt like it was true that somebody had cursed me, and I was scared. And it was back before I knew anything. Now looking back, it's like, oh my God, she's taking advantage of me because she made me scared, and she knew that I would pay the money because I didn't want to curse on me. Oh my God, what does that mean? I mean, she had me believing my dick was going to fall off, and I forgot I wasn't even a man. You know? It's like, oh my God, really? Oh my God. She had me so scared. I was shaking when I was pulling the money out of the ATM, man. She says, I'm only going to be open for 20 more minutes. You got to come. You go get that money right now. We got to break this curse tonight because the full moon and she, oh my God, she was a talker. Ooh, she got me into that, but good. And I believed everything she said. She was a bruja from South America. She had the exotic thing and then the accent, but with the English mixed with the accent, it was like, oh my God, I can't not believe this woman. You know, now looking back, she was probably laughing her ass all the way to the bank. Or the frickin' Lobster House. My God, $100 30 years ago? That was a frickin' lot of money. I did draw the collective card for the day, so if there's something specific you have been thinking about over and over again in the past day or two, the answer to that is no. Literally, the card just says no. No exclamation point at the end, just N-O. That's it. No punctuation. And I just got this today, this card set called Angel Answers Oracle Cards by Radleigh Valentine. It's just a 44 card deck. I'm really excited about it. And anyway, so if there's one thing that's been on your mind a lot, and I've been wondering, am I going to be homeless? Should I buy a tent? You know, in like, I have about 3 to 4 months worth of money until I don't. You know, I mean, if I don't get a job, if I don't finish the certification, if my equipment doesn't come, you know, if it's not released from the powers and authorities that be that have my equipment right now, I mean, that's how I'm going to make my living, and, you know, making classes for Udemy and doing that. So I'm just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I've been asking Spirit, like, for a couple days, okay, look, if this is something I need to go through another level of humility, more humbling, you know, if this is the thing I need for whatever the hell, to learn to trust myself. I mean, if, you know, but I just really need to know, because you know what, I am 52 years old and this is crap, you know. Being homeless when you're 20 and you're full of life and you have other friends that can help you out, that's one thing, or parents that maybe you could kind of lean on, that's one thing. But when you're 52 and all your people are dead, you're at the end of the line. You don't have, you know, someone to call anymore who can send you $1,000 until you could get back on your feet. Like, I'm like at the end of my fucking rope right now, and so I've been asking, you know, like, I know what my plans are, and I'm very positive, and I'm hoping, obviously, that, ooh, I hate that word is like, it's good and bad all at once. You know, it's just one of those things where you hope things happen in the future, but the future never comes. So that hope keeps you between you and your dreams from happening now, you know? So I always say, I hope, you know, but I've been wondering, you know, okay, look, you know what? I'm going to surrender to the universe, open myself up to the whole field of possibilities thing, and hope beyond hope that this isn't the case. But let me ask. I'm going to keep an open mind. So I've been asking the universe for a couple days, am I going to be homeless in 6 months as a 52-year-old stuck in a foreign country? Is that going to be my fate? And this is the answer. No. No. And I did not ask that question when I drew the card, but something's been on my mind for a couple days. And so I'm like drawing through the cards. I'm like, okay. And like a group of like 6 cards pop out and no was on top. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to take that because the other cards are part of it. So shuffle that back in the deck. And okay, come on, Archangel Uriel. He's the one that drew the cards this week. He's working with us. So I'm like shuffling again. And a group of like another 4 to 5 cards pop out and no was on top of that pile as well. So put that back in the deck because it's a group of cards and shuffle. And then the no card came out a third time, guys. So if there's something you've been asking or thinking about or wondering for a while, the answer is no. No. You know, and it's not like a question like, say, 2 weeks ago, you were wondering if you're ever going to meet your twin flame and you obsessed on that for 3 days and then you forgot it for 2 weeks. That's not, you know what I mean? So it's like whatever in the past 48 hours you've been thinking about. More like 36 hours. So whatever you've been thinking about, yeah, the answer is no. And for me, the big one was, am I going to be homeless? Yeah, wow. Because I have a kitty cat coming. I think my cat's coming over tomorrow. My little brujeria cat, my little witch cat, my sweet little boy. He's going to be, I think he's about 2 months old. I got to find out his birthday. But he's an all-black cat with green and blue eyes. He's so totally perfect. Today, I also got a witch's hat. The one that's all curvy and wild that you can fix the brim. You could change it in all the different shapes you want. The one that's kind of expensive, and I did not get it expensive, though. I got it through a different vendor, and oh my God, this hat is so cute and it's perfect. In honor of my new kitty cubby tomorrow. And I was thinking a couple days ago when we were presented with the idea of having a black cat, I'm like, wow, if I got him on the 7th, I could call him 7. And then my next thought was, oh, it's too bad Friday is the 7th because... Or is not the 7th, you know, it's like the 7th or the 8th, you know, or I don't know what I was thinking. I'm like, oh yeah, well, that's not going to work out. If I got him on the 7th of October, I could call him 7 because that's kind of cool. It's a cool name. 7 chakras, 7th heaven. It's kind of cool. I'm like, yeah, I'll name him 7. Because I was thinking other words like Snape or Severus, you know, of course, you know, Black Cat, Halloween, Harry Potter-rific witchy names. And I'm like, 7's kind of a cool name. I like that. 7's cool. 7. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's too bad that Friday's not the 7th. That's why I'm going to get the cat. Well, she wrote us today and she says, I want to bring the cat tomorrow. On the 7th. Oh my God, you guys. So some things are moving forward and other things are like really weird. Like what's happening? I've been wanting a cat for a while, but I didn't want to put it out to the universe for real because I honestly just wanted my own house. I want to have security and financial and house security. So I was like, yeah, someday I'll have a cat. Okay. And I wasn't thinking about it, but boy, when my son said there's 2 cats, I'm like, no, I don't want a cat, but we'll help find homes for him. And he showed me the first cat. I'm like, okay, I still have the sales resistance. He showed me the black cat. I went, holy shit, that's my cat. I recognize this cat's eyes. This is my old cat. So come home, Corrigan. Come on, let's do it. I'm going to call my cat 7. I'm sure of it. My son wants to name him Maximilian, so it's probably going to be Maximilian 7. I'm gonna until I get the cat and do a naming ceremony. Then I'll tell when it's all done. I'll tell you guys my cat's name, his full official name, and we'll do a naming ceremony and do a little specialness with him. I think he's gonna be my little familiar. And the wolves came over today. They came in and laid down, and I looked them both in the eye and I said, I'm going to have a black cat in here. And he's going to be your baby brother, and I don't want you to eat him or hurt him. He's going to love you, and he's going to look up to you guys. And they both kind of looked me in the eyes, and they kind of looked sad and looked away because they don't want to be upstaged by a cat. And I think the wolves want to be my wolves too. I think they want to come and just be our dogs. And I could be wrong. I mean, maybe they're, I don't know, is there a thing, I don't want to slut shame the dogs, but what's that, like they share a bunch of different families, like, going around, like, are they family sluts? Is that a thing? I don't know. Because they kind of belong to the neighborhood and everyone thinks of them as their dogs, but they only really sleep in front of my door. They don't sleep in front of anyone else's door. So, I don't know. I'm just like, oh man. And I did order this thing. I can't wait for this to come. It's an ionizer. When that comes, I won't be allergic to the animals anymore because getting near them with the ionizer will knock all the dander to the ground immediately, rendering it inert, and it won't affect me. So that's what ionizers do. So I've been really excited about the idea of this. And I know ionizers work. My ex-father-in-law had one in his house, and he was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day and refused to open a frickin' window. And the tar was running down the walls. It was disgusting. And he had like 1-inch thick tar coating his TV. And he said to us, there's something wrong with this damn TV. I need you to get rid of it and buy a new one for me. And my husband's like, well, we don't have a TV. Do you mind if we take it? He's like, no, I want you to sell it and give me the money. And we're like, but we can pay you the money. He's like, I'm not going to sell it to you. There's something wrong with it. Just sell it to someone else. So my husband said, okay. And what did we do? We put $50 in his bank account, and a week later it said, look, we sold the TV for $50. And he had managed to scrape the nicotine off with an old credit card and 2 or 3 bottles of Windex. And then he painted that thing with hot pink and blue paint, and his dad never recognized it. Oh my God, just my life. My life is so strange. Okay, so anyway, whatever you guys are doing, I want you to just look and assess everything and realize that all the weirdness of this year, we're living 12 years in 1 year. Or something, no, 10 years in 1 year. That's what John Hogue said. Sheree and Kara have been saying it like every month. Like a couple months ago, we lived a whole spiritual year. Last month, we lived a whole spiritual year in a month. This month, we're going to live 6 months in a month. And what I mean by that, it's accelerated growth. So what you're normally, if you're on a spiritual path, normally would take you 6 full months. 180 days is only taking you 30 days. That's why things are so frickin' weird, and it's weird and wild for everybody. And I see the I don't know. I can't even say what I see when I say it, but I see it. I see that we're all being put through our paces, but we're all being put through different paces, but all for the same exact reason. Wow, it's like 2 or 3 people trying to send me a message today that I don't know. So that might be a good sign. So things that, like, I thought I had a paid acting gig. I got hired, and it turned out it's a volunteer acting gig. And I'm like, I don't have time for that now. It's like, if you were going to pay me, then I wouldn't be worried about, getting to the TESOL certification so fast, right? So those kinds of things. Like, it's just 1 step forward, 2 steps back for some of us, and 1 step back for some of us, but 2 steps forward. And in the end, we're all going to win it this year, this year. But maybe for me, my lesson is to learn patience. I'm still moving forward. I am moving forward. I am making progress, but it's very, very slowly. And a lot of you are making massive progress rapidly because maybe you already learned the patience game. So I feel like we're all moving forward and we're all going at our own pace and learning our own lessons, but it's all, like we all have different lessons, obviously. So that's what I'm feeling. That's really what I'm feeling right now as far as what's happening. But whatever you're going through, if you're frustrated, a lot of you had behavioral issues this past month. Well, I am here to tell you, a lot of people had it. September was a really rough month emotionally. People were crazy, out of control, angry, being rude when they're normally relaxed and even keeled. But you just lived through a full year of intense spiritual growth in 30 whole days. That's why. Not only that, but being bombarded by cosmic radiation and God knows what else from the cosmos. And the sun has been crazy. I mean, we had a solar flare when we didn't even have a sunspot. Usually, from what our scientists have told us, that unless there's a sunspot, we cannot have a solar flare flaring up. But a big-ass piece of the sun broke off. The sun is hurling shit at us. Here, take that. Let me take off my arm and throw it at you. Fuckers. That's what it seems like it's doing. It's like, why are you throwing pieces of yourself at us? What the hell are you doing over there? Do you hate us that much, son? Is that what this is? Are you breaking up with us? I'm just kidding. A lot of the stuff is for your spiritual growth, right? The sun, all the energy coming through the sun, it's a portal. All this wild stuff is happening. Things that are not supposed to happen have happened. It's been a very, very weird, September was a very, very weird month. And that's why, the end of September, look what happened. We had a G1 class geomagnetic storm with massive crack in the magnetosphere and tons of radiation pouring in, the solar winds. The stream was 3 days long. And then it let up for 1 day, and then boom, we got hit by a G2 geomagnetic storm for 3 full days. And then boom, right after that, we got hit by another G1 geomagnetic storm. And the magnetosphere just keeps cracking open and cracking open. We have no protection, and we're being bombarded by cosmic radiation and solar radiation. And we're also speeding up energetically. Our timeline is shifting in such a way that we're going through a year in 30 days. Now this month, we've gotten a break. It's a little bit more ethereal in October, which as it should be because Halloween. But we are being shifted by 6 months in 30 days this time. It's a little bit better, but it's still it's crazy. So, if you got crazy and you were screaming at people and yelling at people and being super rude or being super nostalgic and crying or crazy depressed and normally you're happy-go-lucky, now you're emo-rific, laying in bed wishing that you had a whole wardrobe of a gothic person, because that's what I did. I was in bed a lot. I was crying a lot for no reason. Towards the end of the, in the beginning of the month, I had a reason, but the end of the month, I didn't. I was fine. My oldest child, all of her accounts were hacked, and I can't contact her now. And she knows how to protect her stuff. She's a computer genius, just because it's fun for a hobby. And I can't get in touch with her now. It's just I don't even know. I can't contact her any longer. Right now, at least. We will eventually. And I don't know. I don't know if her phone was stolen. I don't know what happened. But I can't get in touch with her. So I have to just keep having faith every freaking day. I'm asking her higher self, hey, is she still alive? Hey, is she okay? Hey, is she in university? Is she making friends? Is she happy? Is she warm? Is she safe? Can she breathe okay? Every day I'm worried about my kids, so every day I have to use my psychic power to make sure she's all right. I don't know what happened. I don't know. All of her accounts were hacked, and they were all spamming suddenly everything. So they might have all been shut down now, because suddenly out of nowhere she's a freaking spammer, which is crazy. And I wrote the words, "I think you were hacked," and then I looked. Other people wrote the same thing. This is unlike you. I think you're hacked. My son said the same thing. No, I think she's hacked. We're just like, I mean, that's a crazy setback to get hacked on all of your social media accounts the week you start university. It's like, there's a universal message there. I figured out. But the universe has been speaking to me a lot, though. It's been speaking to you a lot. Are you listening? Do you hear it? Do you see the signs before you? A fun way to take a sign, if you're in front of a fireplace, ask the universe, ask Prime Creator or your holy guardian angel, put a message in the fire. I'm going to snap it in 7 seconds. And you count to 7, and when you hit 7, just snap the picture and then blow it up. Check it out. See if there's any message, if there's like a picture, an image of something. It's pretty crazy. One time I took a picture, it's on my Instagram, at mermaidgirl888. I took a picture of my fireplace in Detroit. Now, this is going back many years with the pictures, but my fireplace flipped me off. I'm like, you're an asshole. It looked like a fist just flipping me off, flying the bird at me. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sitting here thinking, I really like having the fireplace. It's so romantic. At least, I could be romantic. I don't need to be in a relationship. I could give myself the romance that I need and want, and I can nurture and love myself, and that's just going to draw my guy faster and closer to me. And I'm like, hey, fireplace, do you have any messages for me? Those are the ideas going through my head. Take a picture. The fire flipped me off. I'm like, oh my God already. Anyway, probably the fire's not going to flip you off. But I had pictures that I took years ago, the first time I had New Year's Eve in Cuenca, and I asked the fire to send me pictures. I saw an angel and I saw a dragon, and I'm like, that's awesome. That was really awesome. Yeah, but in Detroit, the fire just flips you off. That's what happened when I was in Detroit. But I've been taking pictures I took a couple of pictures of clouds. I took a couple of pictures of coffee grounds. I think maybe something else. I don't know if I've shown you guys when I was chopping carrots, and there's a little spot on the carrot, and I chopped it. There was like a perfectly formed J is one of the dark spots on the carrot that I had cut off, and I've been seeing the initials J and D up in the clouds for years. Every time I think about my twin flame, like, who's my twin flame? And then I look up and it says J and D, and they're his initials, and I know that that's my twin flame's initials, but also Jude Dekoff is my near twin flame, and that's his. And then lately I've been, I was looking at Joe DeVito. He's an incredibly funny comedian, and I just ran across him. I didn't know who he was. Never had heard of him until like a few months ago. I'm like, man, Joe DeVito, that's also JD. And I'm like, that's very common, very, very common initials. But I'm like, yeah, all right. But anyway, yeah, so let's get into it. HeartMath Institute, heartmath.org, they're shut down again. I don't know what's going on with fires in California, but their offices have closed the thing again, the website. So hopefully we'll have a better insight soon as far as the Schumann Resonance is concerned. Now, as far as the Schumann Resonance is concerned on disclosurenews.it, I think it was 18. Let me look. Then we'll get into space weather, and then that's it until we get into the second half. All right. No, 19. Yeah. Power 19. I found out what the word power means, by the way, guys, because the other website says it too. Power is when they tell you what the Schumann Resonance was for a specific hour, they take all the numbers over the course of like every minute for 60 minutes, and then the highest peak, the power point out of those 60 numbers, out of those 60 readings, that's what they plot on the graph. So when they say, it was 144 hertz frequency at 1 o'clock, that means like between 12:30 and 1:30, that was the median range, and that's why they call it power. It was the power point of all of the Schumann resonances, of all the Hertz frequencies. So mystery solved there. It only took me like reading this description like 10 different times before I understood what they were trying to say. I feel like for a year and a half, I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? I've been trying to figure it out. I finally was able to figure it out yesterday. So wanted to let you guys know that. All right. Wearing my witchy hat. Oh, I love this hat so much. I cannot wait to take a picture as soon as I have my new makeup coming. Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture and show you guys. Because it's Halloween, man. I've been really excited about Halloween. They don't even celebrate it here, but the Day of the Dead, I think on November 2nd. It's incredible. You go downtown, you don't expect it. You think whatever, it's just a normal day. Next thing you know, right when the sun sets, you're surrounded by all these people dressed as dead people. It's so awesome. It's like, because it's like the sugar skulls, and the makeup is like, it's not Mexican sugar skulls, it's the Ecuadorian. It's like the Ecuadorian version. And for this whole month, we have wawas, which are little cookies. They're shaped like babies, and you eat them in remembrance of all of the babies that have died, while they were little babies or before they were born. Because if you don't, you will be haunted by them for the rest of the year. And so this is like a tradition in Ecuador, and it's kind of like a guilty horror kind of tradition. It's like, a lot of horror stories and horror ideas come out of it because of the guilt that people feel when babies die, because they feel like they should have been able to do something. People really shame themselves here when something doesn't work out with a child who doesn't live. They just feel like they are at fault because they were the adults and they could have done something, and they really blame themselves. There's a lot of guilt. So that's where a lot of this, these notions come from, but And I learned from an author who's from Quito. He told me this a couple years ago. But the wawas, so this is a month of the baby wawas, and you have to go like to a bakery and eat it at least once, and you have to say a prayer for all the babies that have died in the world, and ask God to bless their souls and their spirits. And when you remember them, and then now you're okay, you're not gonna be haunted by baby spirits. It's kind of a strange and spooky tradition, but there's a lot of spooky stuff here. I love the spooky stuff. All right, so here we go. We're going to get into spaceweather.com. So as far as the sun is concerned right now, I'm not really mad at the sun for hurling stuff at us, like I said. It just feels like we're on the most volatile planet. And by the way, a new article just came out saying that they have discovered like a dozen or more than hospitable planets than this one for us. With a perfect atmosphere, warmer climate, wonderful weather, wonderful everything. I'm like, yeah, we'll get there and it'll be like infested with crocodiles or some crap that we don't know about right now. But it's pretty crazy that there are other planets. I mean, lost in space much? I mean, it's on its way, right? Anyway. All right, so here we go. The solar wind speed right now is 327.4 kilometers per second. And something just happened. Right in this moment, just updated. There were some gorgeous aurora borealises with angels and dragons and all kinds of stuff, according to the photographer. So if you want to look in the archives of spaceweather.com, I highly recommend it. It is inspirational how beautiful and green and pink and yellow and lovely the aurora borealises were yesterday. They did not expect another geomagnetic storm, and yet, oh, sorry, you don't have to expect anything. We're going to get an automatic crack in the magnetosphere and suddenly be bombarded again by space radiation. It's beautiful, though. I mean, hey, it's beautiful. We've now had 11 days without a sunspot, and this is fun. Draconid meteor shower tonight. Earth is right now passing through a stream of debris from Comet 21P, Giacobini Zinner, source of the notoriously unpredictable Draconid meteor shower. Now, some years, a Draconid storm erupts when Earth passes through a dense clump. Well, that sounds about right for 2020. It says, but 2020 is not expected to be such a year. I wouldn't count 2020 down and out just yet. Based on what we've seen so far, it's been a doozy of a year. Northern sky watchers will probably see no more than 10 meteors per hour after nightfall on the 7th and 8th of October, which of course is, well, it's midnight, so 7 just started now, so basically tomorrow and the next day, or whenever you hear this, and also the next day. So, solar explosion misses Earth. Could have fooled me. A couple hours ago, man, I was feeling it. I thought I was going to go to sleep around 8 or 9. 8 or 9, I started getting real drowsy. Around 10, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep before I get to do the show. I had so much energy, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, tons of energy coming our way. And here it is. If only this had happened a week ago, they say. A beautifully bright coronal mass ejection lumbered away from the sun on the 6th, which just a couple hours ago, shown here in a movie from the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, otherwise known as SOHO. So the NOAA forecasters say the CME will miss Earth, but if the same explosion had happened a week ago when the blast was facing Earth, the blast site, then we would be declaring a geomagnetic storm warning right now, and they say maybe next time. Well, I don't think we would have needed an extra one. We had 3 in a row, but okay. Fear and dread around Mars. Well, that's fun. By the way, if you go outside and you get your backyard telescope pointing up towards that bright red star next to the moon, actually known as the planet Mars, it is so clear and so close that it looks like the Hubble telescope. Inside your backyard, run-of-the-mill, bought it at Toys R Us telescope right now. Mars is that red thing next to the sun, next to the moon right now. The moons of Mars, though, are so small, some astronomers believe they're actually captured asteroids. And they are named Phobos and Deimos, which also means fear and dread. Well, that's really freaking positive. Dread. Can I name my cat that? No. Nah. Not gonna name my cat Dread. I like 7. I'm liking 7. The diminutive satellites average 17 kilometers in diameter, and they're rarely seen in pictures of the red planet. Last night was different. Dennis Simmons of Brisbane, Australia, captured both. So he said there was a close encounter with Earth. Mars was only 62 million kilometers from his back garden in Brisbane. And so because the proximity boosted the apparent brightness of the tiny moons, it also increased the angular separation from Mars, and it made the photo possible. So he made a composite, though, of all the photos he took. So if you want to check it out, it's on spaceweather.com. It's pretty cool, actually. I can't believe we're able to see Phobos. That's cool. Now, Mars in his telescope isn't red looking. I guess it is when you're far away from it. Oh, there's a man in Mars, and it looks actually like a cat. Oh, this is so cute. You got to see this composite. It looks like a face of a kitty cat kind of emerging. That's pretty crazy. All right, let's see. Even has over to the right, it looks like what appears to be a tail. That's pretty cool. All right, we don't have any significant coronal holes on the Earth side of the sun right now, by the way. And as far as cosmic radiation, we are at a very high level right now of cosmic radiation. Well, that does make sense. I'm feeling something. Anyway, we are at 10.2% of the space age average, which is very high. Oh, but in the past 48 hours, it has gone down by 0.3%. So, still, we're all very high. All right. All Sky Fireball Network And the NASA's all-sky cameras did capture 18 fireballs, sporadics, over the United States on October 6th, just a few hours ago. So that is what is happening right now. So Draconid, check out the meteor shower and Mars, and just take care of yourself because of all the cosmic radiation. But everything is as it should be, and I don't want you guys to lose hope. Especially if things are like just so frickin' slow and going backwards, or all the information you thought you had and now turns out there's a lot more information, like what has been happening with me. Normally, I'm a very detail-oriented person. In the past year or maybe year and a half, it's like everything has been slipping by me. I don't know what's going on astrologically or something, where I'm just like, what? ADHD, adult onset, maybe, possibly. My autism, I found out I'm kind of barely, but slightly on the spectrum. So I don't know if that's a new development or just something I'm noticing now. I don't know what it is, but I feel like we're all going through something. But a lot of us are going through something wonderful. And those of us who are being held back right now, there's a reason for it, but I know we're all about to go through something wonderful. So I want you to always find the workaround, the creative workaround, the imaginative way to get outside of what you thought you needed to do. Because there is hope. I don't mean, keeping everything in the future, hope, but just it's all going to get better. So just keep on. As long as you're making a teeny tiny bit of progress every day, you're doing good. So I just wanted to add that to the beginning part of this message. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, guys. And when I come back, you know what this is. You know what today is, guys. Today is the first Tuesday of October, and the first Tuesday of every month, you guessed it, we get into the CIA papers. So last month, on the first Tuesday of September, we got into the Gateway Experience by Robert Monroe, and the generals, 4-star generals, talking about things like astral projection and hypnosis and, oh my God, and hemisyncing. Anyway, we're going to get back into it. We left off at biofeedback. So we're going to talk about biofeedback and the definition of that in this, I think it's like a 23-page paper right after this message. So stick around. It's going to be only less than 2 minutes. So yeah, go make popcorn. Keep it running, because I'm coming right back right after this. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. it's cosmic radiation time, kids. I am burning up. I keep going through this hot and then cold and then hot and then cold. Here's a new ascension symptom. It's a new old one. We've had this one before, but it's happening again right now. Yesterday I had an issue with the tinnitus going super loud in my left ear. And then about an hour later, super loud in my right ear. Like there's a mosquito living inside my head. It was so loud I couldn't hear anything. And then all of a sudden it was gone. So I did want to bring it up in case it's been happening to you. These are ascension symptoms. Having problems with gastrointestinal issues is another thing. Craving lots of high vibrational food, light food, like lots of fruit, vegetables. For the past week, by the way, that's another one. I've been eating almost every single day now. My son and I have been making big vats of vegetarian. Actually, I guess technically it's vegan vegetable stew, and it's really excellent. We're adding tons of garlic and tons of ahi, which is like a pepper here, and it's really tasty. We're just so thrilled with it. But so yeah, that's something that we've been going through. Like, I don't know what you guys, if you guys are going through the same sort of thing, but I'm also craving chicken, but like every other day. So it's like every other day I've been vegan, and then the days in between I'm eating meat, or like little, not a lot, but it's been really wild. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up, the cosmic radiation thing. Like, I'm just like, whoo, I'm burning up. And just like a couple hours ago, I was freezing, and I keep going vasellating between. I am on prednisone, but this was going on before I got on prednisone a few days ago. The Sangay volcano going off here in Ecuador is just, it's been wreaking havoc with my asthma again, and I noticed that my toenails started to turn blue, and they weren't, even if I exercise or dance like I kind of do, they still were kind of blue, which means I'm low in oxygen. And I was having a lot of congestion in my lungs, and I'm like, it's a volcano, man. It's a giver, gives me hassles. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm getting through it again. I was wondering, what is going on? For my first 2 years, I'm like, why do I have to be on prednisone 2 or 3 times a year? Why? I don't understand what's going on. Is it something blooming? And then when I realized how close we were to the volcano, I went back and looked at all the months I was on it. It's because I was breathing in the fine particulate matter that is in the sky. And we have had now for 4 or 5 days overcast, dreary, rainy days. And then at night, very, very late at night, the sky will open up and it gets extremely cold because there's no more cloud cover to keep what very little warmth we had. So it's been very cold here, very miserable, very much like October weather in the States, or, like what you would expect. So it's been kind of interesting, actually. It feels very October-y here, even though it's not, the Halloween thing here is not a big deal. Not like what it is in the States. Everyone starts celebrating Halloween like in August now. Oh, is it August already? Oh gosh, get out the pumpkins. It's how we feel, like, those of us who love Halloween. But all right, we're going to get into the CIA papers now. I did want to mention the ascension symptoms, because that cosmic radiation energy is like, hoo-wee. Oh, I did want to tell you guys some magical stuff has been happening to me. Not only did I get my witch hat today that I did not expect, and that I'm getting a black cat. I got a black hat and a black cat coming tomorrow. 2 things this week, very witchy things I did not expect. Last night, as I was starting to lay down to go to sleep, I saw the faint outline of a dragon in my room, and I saw a bunch of fairies in my room, and I saw what I can only describe as borrowers in my room. The little teeny tiny 1 foot tall beings. And they can disappear, but I see them there for a second and then gone for a second. And I've seen them kind of climb up onto my bed and then jump off real fast when I almost see them. And they notice I see them. So that's like a weird magical thing that's going on. And another thing happened to me this morning. And I was thinking, I've been wearing this amulet for a few days, and maybe energetically I need to take it off. It's a protective amulet that is actually pretty nice. I mean, I put it on and all of a sudden nothing is touching me. I'm like fully protected. And then when the energy starts to reverse or it feels a little strange, I just flip it around, because there's like energetically, it just flips energy again and it deflects anything. So like I could wear it and I feel protected and everything's great. But if something's coming near me, like someone's thought forms or something that aren't working for me, and I just flip that around and it's like a shield, and it just like wah, 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 and it just like knocks it away from me and everything's cool. Well, this morning I was thinking, maybe last night I kind of thought about it, and then early this morning I thought maybe I should take this off, because maybe I need a break from the energy of the shield and the amulet itself. Sometimes I like to take a break from my jewelry, and then I'll come back to it, revisit the energy of it later, and see if it needs to get, some of the, thought forms or negativity that may surround some of my stuff. Usually it doesn't, but if it does, I might have to sage it or knock it out or run it underwater or whatever. Because I always cleanse my stuff pretty often. I cleanse my cards that I read for you guys. I cleanse everything all the time. But so anyway, I had the thought, only the thought. Okay, I thought about it last night, and I thought about it this morning, and I've been trying to fall into my God self in each individual cell that I have. I've been trying to like just imagine them like falling back, like leaning back on a, one of those giant like floaty things in a pool. You just kind of, you're supported by the water, but you're supported by the floaty thing. And that's like kind of my visualization of floating into God. It sounds weird, but I was thinking about it, and I was kind of doing my meditation when I opened my eyes and I saw the fairies, I saw the dragons, I see all these energy spirits in my room. It was really magical. And I had that thought, I have to take the amulet off, I think, and take a break from it for a while. And then in the morning, I had the same thought again. And then I went into my bathroom, and the first thing in the morning, I go in to brush my teeth, and I shut off my light now that it's light, because I have my little night light on in there. So I have my like ritualistic things that I do, and I'm like, I'm going to go back to bed. And as soon as I thought I'm going to go back to bed, the amulet fell off my neck. Now, you would think, what does that mean when an amulet falls off your neck? Well, it means that, the clasp just broke or came undone somehow. Now, this is like a military dog tag style chain. All the metal balls lined up with that pill-shaped part where you put the metal balls in and then you snap it over. So military style. So I thought, it could come undone. I mean, weirder things have happened. This thing has fallen off my neck before. It like broke, it just came undone randomly and I didn't even touch it. Twice before. And once, the first time this happened, there was like a metal part holding it on that just randomly, it was like it was pulled. All of a sudden it's like stretched out and it broke, and I was like, what the hell? And we went back to the magical shop where we bought it, and they fixed it for us for free. And they just kind of looked at me weird, like, what the hell happened here? And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know, right? And they just looked at me like, this is impossible. Like, did you pull it? No, nothing. I did nothing. It just randomly happened. And they just kind of looked at me like, uh-huh. And in the store where we bought it, they're a family of brujos. They're all witches. They're all hereditary witches. They're all extremely powerful. And so when I walked in, they felt my power too. And they're like, It was one of those, one witch recognizes another energy. I felt like I walked into Diagon freaking alley. Like I'm on the set of Harry Potter right now. And anyway, today, so my necklace just broke. It just broke. I'm like, oh my God, it just broke. Holy crap. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I expected that maybe the clasp broke or something. And I looked down, the necklace was still on and nothing was broken. The amulet fell off, and you'd think that the metal had gotten stretched out again, or that the metal piece broke, but no, the metal piece was still intact that it was attached to. But the amulet itself, it's scientifically impossible what just happened. There is no scientific explanation for what happened. There is no Occam's razor situation where you could go, well, it was just this. No, it wasn't. Because everything was intact. I don't even know what the hell happened. I had to unbend the ring piece, the metal ring, to put the amulet back on it and then fold it back in, to reshape it back into a circle. It was already a circle. The necklace itself didn't break. Nothing broke. Nothing was broken. And yet the amulet part, the round metal part, freaking just fell off, but there was no reason. There was nothing. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that because I've been having magical experiences like that. I don't know if a fairy did it to joke me, to trick me. I've been already seeing images of my little kitten who is coming my way this week. I have seen little images of him just doing random things like grabbing my scarf off of the wall and rolling around in it. I've been getting flashes and images of things happening like that, of him scratching the couch and me getting mad. Oops. Things I forgot cats do. I've had images of him climbing me like a tree, and I have seen him running around my room and hopping up on my bed. And I don't have a cat yet, and I just keep seeing it out of the corner of my eye, oh my gosh. I see him cozying up to my little trash can I have here in my room, kind of being slick and coy and maybe looking at himself because it's a stainless steel little metal can. So I don't know. I've been having magical things, and I've been the time of the future is bleeding into the current state. And I think the nostalgia is running deep because the time of the past, the memories at least, are bleeding into this current state. Even though you're not actively thinking about, hey, I remember that summer of 1979. You're not really thinking. It's just all of a sudden you're there and you could smell the ice cream from that day that you had that ice cream with that person that you had ice cream with. Back when you were a kid, it was special. Those kind of, it's is weird. I just smelled the ice cream. What the hell? So the past, the present, and the future are all blending together magically. I just want to bring this stuff up because it's not... it's something, it's things that are happening. Ooh, I just looked and it was 1333. There's things that are happening. I just want to bring it up because I do. If it's happening to you, then my friend who is not spiritually aware at all wrote me today and she said, I am feeling so super nostalgic lately and I really miss you. She was my best friend in university, my best female friend. And, we just, every waking moment we could be together, we were. We had 2 or 3 classes together every week, and we were always, for 2 years we had classes together. And we both got our degrees in psychology, and she's been feeling very nostalgic and really missing me. I'm like, yeah, I was too. I was missing her. My son has balanced, by the way, brooms in my room. They're not leaning up against anything. They're just standing on their own bristles. And it looks like ghosts are just standing here holding brooms in my room. And it's kind of it's his broom from his... We have a broom on each floor because we didn't want to cross-contaminate in case there was mold. So I have my room broom, and he has his room broom, and then we have the room broom from, that came with the house on the first floor. But that one's not up here. But But it looks like it's like a witch's broom Stonehenge in my room right now. Just such a strange. I just looked up and saw it. I'm like, oh my God. I hope I don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking these are human beings. Or probably just spirits is what I would imagine. All right. So this article, I've got to go to the beginning here where we were. What is this called? This is a CIA document paper, and it's pretty much, they're talking about the gateway experience, brain hemisphere synchronization in perspective. And so they're going through, one general is going through this information and giving it to it's a report he made for another general in the CIA. And so he went through the introduction, hypnosis, transcendental meditation, and then we went over like the parts of the brain and whatever. And they were talking about Kundalini, psychosis, and transcendence, which they think might be the same thing. And they're trying to figure out some of the spiritual stuff. So let's get into it. Now, the next section where we left off was biofeedback. This is part 2. We're going to do this every Tuesday, every first Tuesday of the month until we're through the paper. All right. I just didn't want to do it every single Tuesday because then it gets tedious of reading every single Tuesday following every single Monday where we're also reading a book. So totally different things, but we're just going to do this the first Tuesday of every month. All right. 4, biofeedback. The third consciousness altering methodology, which will be briefly discussed, is biofeedback. Biofeedback is somewhat unique in that it actually employs the self-cognitive powers of the left hemisphere to gain access to such areas of the right brain as the lower cerebral, motor, and sensory cortices, and its assorted pain or pleasure centers. Instead of suppressing the left hemisphere, as is done in hypnosis, or largely bypassing and ignoring it, as is done in transcendental meditation, biofeedback teaches the left hemisphere first to visualize the desired result, and then to recognize feelings associated with the experience of successful right hemisphere access to the specific lower cerebral cortex, pain or pleasure, or other areas in the manner needed to produce the desired result. Special self-monitoring devices such as a digital thermometer are used to inform the left brain when it succeeds in keying the right hemisphere into accessing the appropriate area. Uh-oh. I just somehow skipped ahead accidentally. Did not mean to do that. Where were we? Okay. Once this is done, the left brain can then repeatedly instruct the right brain to reestablish the pathways involved so as to produce the same external objective measures of success. In this way, the pathways are strengthened and emphasized to such an extent that the left brain consciousness is enabled to access appropriate areas in the right brain using a conscious demand mode. For example, if the subject wishes to increase the circulation in the left leg in order to speed up healing, he may concentrate with his left brain on achieving that result while carefully monitoring a digital thermometer connected to the left leg. I think biofeedback machines are usually connected to your fingers, though. Your first and second finger are usually on your left hand. But I just wanted to throw that out there because maybe he meant the left hand. But I don't want to second guess this general, but I'm just saying. All right. So, all right, where are we? Okay, so when the concentrated effort begins, it's really weird. I think he's missing a word. Hold on. When the concentrated effort begins to achieve success, the digital thermometer will register an increase in the temperature of the left leg. At that point, the subject can mentally, left brain, emphasize with memory recall the same process to cause its strengthening by affirmation and repetition. In this way, pain can be blocked, healing can be enhanced, malignant tumors can apparently be suppressed and ultimately destroyed. The body's pleasure centers can be stimulated, ooh la la, and a variety of specific physiological results may be achieved. In addition, biofeedback may be used to greatly accelerate achievement of deep meditative states, particularly for beginners. And by the way, that's true. So beginners who have no experience in meditative techniques and whose progress is that methodology is enhanced through effective visualization and external objective affirmation. Display of the subject's brainwave pattern on a cathode ray tube has proven to be a laboratory validated means by which subjects may quickly learn to place themselves in profoundly relaxed states characterized by the sort of quietude and singularity of mental focus associated with advanced meditation. By the way, you could pick up a biofeedback machine, probably on eBay or, the jungle one, which shall not be named. But biofeedback machines are pretty easy. Probably just, you could pick one up at the mall, like this week, if you use your mind for the right thing to focus on something and then use biofeedback, it will help you. If you need it just to calm down, if you have been angry or agitated lately or stressed out or feeling a lot of fear or anxiety, biofeedback is one of the easiest ways. It's simple, it's drug-free, it's immediate, you'll see results immediately. It's one of those things that really and truly will help you. So I do highly recommend just grabbing one of these machines. They're, I think, anywhere from $60 to like $250, just depending on the model or the company. But you just put like these monitors on your fingers, and like if your heart starts to get stressed, it'll like raise, like a sound, like a whirring sound, and it will like alert you to the fact that it's time to lower your blood pressure again, or it's time to take some deep breaths and relax again. It's pretty interesting stuff. All right. So now we're getting to 5, gateway and hemisync. Now that we have briefly profiled the basic mechanics of the principal techniques for altering or expanding consciousness, which share some of the objectives and or methods employed in the gateway experience, we may proceed to focus on what that technique actually involves. Fundamentally, the gateway experience is a training system designed to bring enhanced strength, focus, and coherence to the amplitude and frequency of brainwave output between the left and right hemispheres so as to alter consciousness, moving it outside the physical sphere so as to ultimately escape even the restrictions of time and space. The participant then gains access to the various levels of intuitive knowledge which the universe offers. What differentiates a gateway experience from forms of meditation is its use of the hemisync technique, which is defined in a monograph by Monroe Institute trainer Melissa Jaeger as a series of consciousness defined when the EEG patterns of both hemispheres are simultaneously equal in amplitude and frequency, unquote. Although hemisync seems to be rather rare and of only short duration in ordinary human consciousness, Melissa Jaeger states, audio techniques in ordinary human consciousness, Melissa, that's weird. Okay, whoa. It seems like it just said the same thing twice. Hold on, maybe it's just my eyes. Dagnabbit. All right, I'm like trying to read this with these insane reading glasses, having this way up close to my face, and also like I have to blow it up because the print is really small. Same issue I had last night. Tomorrow maybe I'll keep my eyes closed and do a channeling. Let me start this part over. Although hemisync seems to be rather rare and of only short duration in ordinary human consciousness, Melissa Jaeger states that audio techniques developed by Bob Monroe can induce and sustain hemisync with the Institute's basic Focus 3 tapes. She also notes that studies conducted by Elmer and Alice Green at the Menninger Foundation have shown that a subject with 20 years of training in Zen meditation could consistently establish hemisync at will. Wow. Sustaining it for over 15 minutes. Dr. Stuart Twemlow, that's a wild name, Twemlow, Teamlow? I don't even know how to say that, Twemlow. Dr. Stuart Twemlow, we'll just say, a psychiatrist and research associate of the Monroe Institute, does report that in our studies of the effect of the Monroe tape system on brain waves, we have found that the tapes encourage the focusing of brain energy, because it can be measured as with a light bulb in watts, actually, into a narrower and narrower frequency band. This focusing of energy is not unlike the yoga concept of one-pointedness, which we may translate in Western terms as a single-mindedness. Dr. Twemlow goes on to observe that as the individual gets into the tapes beyond Focus 3, he says, quote, there is a gradual increase in brainwave size, which is a measure of brain energy or power, unquote. All right. So now we get into 6, lamp versus laser. Lamp versus laser. Melissa Jaeger, maybe it's Jaeger. I keep calling her Jaeger. Now I'm thinking of Jägermeister. Jager. So you could pick whatever name you want as I read this. Melissa Jaeger uses a metaphor to help clarify the process involved in the use of hemisync in the gateway experience. She points out that the human mind, in its natural state, may be likened to an ordinary lamp, which expends energy in the form of both heat and light, but in a chaotic, incoherent way, which diffuses its energy over a wide area of rather limited depth. On the other hand, the human mind, under the discipline of hemisync, acts after the fashion of a laser beam, which produces a disciplined stream of light. The stream of energy is projected with total coherence of both frequency and amplitude, such that the surface area of a laser beam contains billions of times the concentrated energy found in a similar surface area on the sun. That's wild. Gateway assumes that once the frequency and amplitude of the human brain are rendered coherent, it is possible to begin accelerating both so that the human mind is soon resonating at ever higher vibrational levels. The mind can then bring itself into synchronization with more sophisticated and rarefied energy levels in the universe. The mind, when operating at these increasingly rarefied levels, is assumed to be capable of processing at these increased... I just lost it because of this thing that I'm doing. So, okay, it's to be capable of processing the information that's received through the same fundamental matrix by which it makes sense of ordinary physical sensory input to achieve meaning in a cognitive context. Such meaning is usually perceived visually in the form of symbols, but may also be perceived as astonishing flashes of holistic intuition, or even in the form of scenarios involving both visual and oral perception. Oral meaning A-U-R-A-L, ear related, oral perception. The mechanics by which the mind exercises the consciousness function will be addressed in more detail later in this paper. Well, that's good. All right. I'm going to see where we're at with this. Okay. We're at 32 minutes, so I just want to make sure I can read the next section or two. All right. Number 7. Frequency following response. To achieve synchronization of brain hemispheres, the hemisync technique takes advantage of a phenomenon known as the frequency following response, or FFR, which means that if a subject bears a sound produced at a frequency which emulates one of those associated with the operation of the human brain, the brain will try to mimic the same frequency pattern by adjusting its brainwave output. Therefore, if the subject is in a fully awake state but hears sound frequencies which approximates brainwaves output at the theta level, the subject's brain will endeavor to alter its brainwave pattern from the normal beta to the theta level. Since the theta level is associated with sleep, the subject concerned may progress from a fully awake to a sleep state, provided that he does not consciously resist, as the brain strives to entrain its wave frequency output with the one which the person hears. Since these brainwave frequencies are outside the spectrum of sounds which can be heard in pure form by the human ear, the hemisync must produce them based on another phenomenon known as the brain's capacity for deducing beat frequencies. If the human brain is exposed to one frequency in the left ear, which is 10 hertz below another audible frequency played in the right ear, rather than hearing either of them, of the two audible frequencies, the brain will choose then to quote unquote hear the difference between them, or the beat frequency, thus availing itself of the FFR phenomenon in using the technique of beat frequencies. The gateway system uses the hemisync and other audio techniques, employing the FFR phenomenon to introduce a variety of frequencies which are played at the virtually subliminal. Hold on. Oh my gosh, this is like impossible to read. So, at the virtually subliminal, marginally audible level, the objective is to relax the left hemisphere of the brain, place the physical body in a virtual sleep state, and bring the left and right hemispheres into coherence under conditions designed to prompt the production of ever higher amplitudes and frequency of brainwave output. Audible and perhaps subliminal suggestions by Bob Monroe accompany the various brainwave frequencies, which are sometimes rolled in together with other sounds such as sea or surf, or sea surf, to mask the sound frequencies where desirable. So in this way, the gateway consciousness the gateway endeavors to provide the subject with the tools by which he may alter his consciousness based on his own volition over time through the repetitive use of tapes, so as to access via intuitive means new categories of information not available to ordinary consciousness. So 8, role of resonance. However, brain coherence through entrainment to quote-unquote beat frequencies introduced via stereo headphones is only part of the reason why gateway system works. It is also designed to achieve the physical quietude characteristic of deep transcendental meditative states, which brings about a complete alteration of the fundamental resonance pattern associated with the sound frequencies produced by the human body. So, okay, yeah. Yoga, Zen, or transcendental meditation, if practiced long enough, will produce a change in the sound frequency with which the human heart resonates throughout the entire body. According to Bentoff, this change is in resonance results from elimination of what the medical profession calls the bifurcation echo, so that the sound of the heartbeat can move synchronously up and down the circulatory system in harmonious resonance approximately 7 there's that word 7 times a second. Bentoff describes the role played the role played in the bifurcation echo as follows. When the left ventricle of the heart ejects blood, the aorta, being elastic, balloons out just beyond the valve and causes a pressure pulse to travel down along the aorta. When the pressure pulse reaches the bifurcation in the lower abdomen, which is where the aorta forks into to go into the legs. Part of the pressure pulse rebounds and starts traveling up the aorta. If in the meantime the heart ejects more blood and a new pressure pulse is traveling down, these two pressure points will eventually collide somewhere along the aorta and produce an interference pattern. By placing the body in a sleep-like state, the gateway tapes achieve the same goal as meditation in that it places the body in such a profoundly relaxed state that the bifurcation echo slowly fades away as the heart lessens the force and frequency with which it pushes blood into the aorta. The result is regular rhythmic sine wave pattern of sound which echoes throughout the body and rises up into the head in sustained resonance. The amplitude of this sine wave pattern, when measured with a sensitive seismograph type instrument, is about 3 times the average of the sound volume produced by the heart when it is operating normally. Let's see where we're at here. Can maybe do one more here. Number 9, brain stimulation. Bentov's biomedical model shows that this resonance is of considerable importance since it is directly transmitted to and impacts upon this brain. The resulting vibration is received and transmitted into the brain itself via the fluid-filled third and left ventricles located above the brain stem. An electromagnetic pulse is then generated, which stimulates the brain to raise the amplitude and frequency of brain waves output, just as Dr. Twemlow observed in his research on the effects of the hemisync tapes. Although the brain is controlled in a tight membrane called the dura, which is in turn cushioned by a thin layer of fluid located between it and the skull. As the coherent resonance produced by the human heart in a state of profound relaxation reaches the fluid layer surrounding the brain, it sets up a rhythmic pattern in which the brain moves up and down approximately 0.005 to 0.010 millimeters. So basically 0.005 to 0.01 milliliters in a continuous pattern. The self-reinforcing character of resonant behavior accounts for the body's ability to sustain this movement despite the minimal level of energy involved. In this way, the entire body, based on its own micro motion, functions as a tuned vibrational system which transfers energy in a range of between 6.8 and 7.5 hertz into the Earth's ionospheric cavity, which itself resonates at about 7 to 7.5 hertz. And of this process, Bentov states, this is occurring at a very long wavelength at about 40,000 kilometers, or just about the perimeter of the planet. In other words, the signal from the movement of our bodies will travel around the world in about 1/7 of a second through the electrostatic field in which we are embedded, IMBEDDED. Such a long wavelength knows no obstacles, and its strength does not attenuate much over large distances. Naturally, it will go through just about anything: metal, concrete, water, and the fields making up our bodies. It is the ideal medium for conveying a telepathic signal. Oh, okay, we're going to read this next part and stop. Okay, consequently, the gateway process is designed to rather rapidly induce a state of profound calm within the nervous system and to significantly lower blood pressure, to cause the circulatory system, skeleton, and all other physical organ systems to begin vibrating coherently at approximately 7 to 7.5 cycles per second. The resulting resonance sets up a regular repetitive sound wave which propagates in consonance with the electrostatic field of the earth. So this is a lot. I'm going to stop there. When we come back next month, the first Tuesday of November, we're going to start with energy entrainment of this article. It's kind of a lot to go through, so I could continue, but I want you guys to think about this. So is he saying that our minds are affecting the Schumann resonance? What I've been saying for a couple years now on this show. I mean, wow. He puts things, I like the way this man's mind works. He's a general and he works for the CIA, and that's what he's doing. This is his report to the CIA. This is one of those documents that were recently released to the public. It's very interesting that the government's interested in this stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool. Maybe they'll learn something, and maybe this will help all of humanity ascend, including them. This might be the little small part of it that, helps them to kind of get into this information. But the Schumann resonance, everyone says that's a heartbeat of the earth, and that, the earth is doing all the changes. But what did he just say is that everything is resonant with each other, right? It's like if you're set up next to... I just thought of something. I mean, you're set up next to a tuning fork. Your brain is going to start to have that still same amplitude and frequency of the tuning fork eventually, like binaural beats, like what we're going to get into in a month is brainwave entrainment. I think that, or energy entrainment, but I bet he's going into brainwave entrainment soon, which we've already, talked about that. I talked about my experiences doing this with my son, where we started seeing Dr. Kelly Bennett and started to change our brainwaves back so that we could undo and unravel some emotional trauma that our brains were still resonating at the level and frequency of that trauma. And you take that memory and then you reverse it through energetic resonance, basically. And then your brain starts picking the higher vibration and the higher frequency, and pretty much the other one's just a distant memory. You can recall it, but not with emotion anymore. It no longer hurts your brain. If you have low self-esteem, that will hurt your brain, and you can use this brainwave entrainment. Energetically rise back above to where you were before, right? Before the insult was hurled your way and it caused you trauma, or before you saw or witnessed something that hurt your brain because it was emotionally traumatized and affected the physical. everything affects everything else. So it's interesting. So are we actually affecting the Schumann resonance with our minds? And this is the thought I had a second ago. Is it because everyone started listening to isochronic tones and binaural beats? Is it because we all started tuning our brains to higher frequencies? Is it because the higher frequencies are coming from the sun or the cosmos or the Pleiadians beaming us with high vibrational light all the time? We don't know exactly why the Schumann resonances have gone up, but they have gone up, and it's interesting to notate that, to speculate on this stuff is, to me, it's just fascinating as hell. Anyway, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. I wanted to say thank you to those of you who have forwarded and shared, liked, subscribed, favorited, whatever it's called on your app you're using. But thank you for sharing this radio show, I call it, turned podcast. Thank you for sharing with your people, your Twitter followers and your Instagram followers, as well as your groups, your spiritual groups. And I know everyone's a part of something on Facebook. It's been really, really helpful to me because I have gotten increase in numbers, and I just need the favor. I need to ask you guys to please give me a favor of telling the groups, because when I try to, tell them myself, they'd say, well, you can't really promote yourself. This isn't about self-promotion. This isn't a place to advertise. And yet I see 10 or 12 other people saying, hey guys, check out this show I just found out. Hey guys, look at this website I just found out. And everyone goes, oh, that's so cool. And the administrator goes, oh, that's so cool. But when I say, hey guys, I have something really cool you might want to check out, apparently that's not so cool. It's like I can't promote myself, but I need you guys to promote me for me. And thank you. Thank you for that. You will be rewarded in coming weeks and months, because like I said, when I have my classes out that come out, and I have a few hypnotherapy things I'm getting ready to release for you guys in the next, I don't know when, but maybe month, maybe sooner, don't really know. But when I release this stuff, I'm going to give you guys a hefty discount because of your help that so many of you have given to me recently, because I do see a massive boost in my numbers. I was at a plateau for 6 months. I would go up by 3 or 4 people, and then a week later I'd go back down by 3 or 4 people, and I'm like, what's happening right now? So now I see every day a steady increase of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people, and it's really helping me. Now I need at least 10 times this in order to make a living and survive just by doing my show. So I'm still a ways away from doing that, maybe, although I'm telling the universe right now, I do accept 10,000 or 30,000 listeners, whatever you want to send my way, whoever I'm going to help, I do accept it. Hey, throwing it out there. But if you guys can help out, I just want to say thank you in advance for that, and you will eventually be rewarded when I start putting things out and giving you guys the secret discount. You have to listen for it, but there it is. There you have it. So anyway, I wanted to also say that I love you. We're all in the same boat together. We're all on, basically steamship planet Earth. I'm saying steamship because it feels like some of us are being held back. I feel in some ways we're just things aren't quite working. For me, I think it's because of the Mercury retrograde. Being very, very Virgo that I am. Mercury being my ruling planet that it is. But I feel like, instead of spaceship planet Earth right now, it's like we're steamship. It's like we're a little bit slower right now. Things are a little bit woo. Things feel a lot more spacious and nebulous than last month, and I'm glad about that. And things are coming together in ways that I never imagined it would. and I'm glad about that. But I do see it's progressing, but it's very slow. But we're progressing very rapidly, so that's the ironic part. So the things in the material world, they're progressing, but it's slow. Anyway, so I wanted to say thank you guys for your continued patience and confidence in me, myself, my abilities, and my show, and for feeling confident and empowered enough to share with other people, because I do see a difference. I want to say thank you for that. We are all in the same hashtag, Soul Family, hashtag Soul Tribe. So that's how you could find me on Twitter. That is how you can find me on Instagram. I think possibly Facebook, but I'm not sure. Everything I post on Insta goes to Face, so who knows. Anyway, I'm not terribly active on Facebook, but you can contact me mostly through just direct messaging on @mermaidgirl888 on Instagram. So it's just pretty much the easiest way to get in touch with me right now, guys. So let's see what else. Anything else? No. I thought I had one more announcement to make about, I did talk about the cosmic radiation in the beginning, but there was something else. I think I did talk about the uninhabitable. Oh, yes, this is it. You could go online and look at pictures that people have taken of Mars, but the largest volcano in the universe, in the solar system, that's the one. The largest volcano in the solar system is visible by looking at Mars right now with a backyard telescope. And if you don't have one, you can go online and look for people who have taken pictures of this. It's pretty cool. There's also a picture of it on spaceweather.com. I forgot to mention that earlier. I think maybe it's not on spaceweather.com. Just look up volcano on Mars and see what you can see. If you're interested in, I'm interested in this stuff. So if you are too, then I just wanted to throw it out there because that's so cool. Oh my God, the largest volcano in our solar system, and it's on Mars, and it's really close to us right now. Woo, we could see it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for being here for me. Show doesn't work unless there are listeners, and I'm glad that you guys are here listening to my myriad ideas and wide variety of thoughts and, sometimes ramblings, but we always get there where we need to go on our journey, and I'm glad we're doing the journey together, so I wanted to thank you for that. So that's it for now. I'm going to take a long nap for, I don't know, I guess sleep all morning or sleep until the wee hours of the morning, then get up, race down to the store and find some cat litter and a cat litter box, or maybe 2 or 3, so that my baby kitten can be potty trained tomorrow. Oh my God. I'm a kitty mommy. It's going to happen tomorrow. You might get to hear a little meow on the show. So exciting. I have a feeling this is a Lyran in a cat body too. It's like, ooh, it's going to be kind of spooky and kind of fun. So here we go. All right, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming, just like always. But for now, I am signing off with peace. Excuse me. Ooh, the asthma. It's the Sangay. Thank you, the giver. Anyway, I'm signing off now with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.